The constellation of the awakened, the cosmic lineage of the 28 Buddhas. Deep in the ancient monastery libraries of Sri Lanka, where the air is thick with the scent of palm leaves and incense, monks guard manuscripts that most Buddhists have never seen. These ancient texts, inscribed with precise Pali script, contain something extraordinary, a secret history of enlightenment itself. Picture this. While the world knows of one Buddha, these canonical sources document an entire cosmic lineage of 28 awakened beings, stretching across time periods so vast that all of human history is but a fleeting breath. From the first Buddha, Dipankara, who lived 4 incalculable eons ago and made a prophecy that would echo through eternity, to the 28th, Siddhartha Gautama, which means the story is not over. These are not mythological tales. This is the Buddhavamsa, the Chronicle of Buddhas, an official part of the Pali Canon, preserved by scholars for over 2,000 years. It contains patterns that reveal something profound about how enlightenment actually works across cosmic cycles. Some Buddhas in this lineage lived for 100,000 years. Others appeared for mere decades. Each manifested at the precise moment humanity needed their specific form of awakening. And the pattern of their appearances, their lifespans, and their teaching methods creates a cosmic algorithm, explaining why Buddhas emerge exactly when they must. The most remarkable part is that ancient chroniclers did not just record these 28 Buddhas randomly. They documented a systematic decline, a cosmic melody that reveals how consciousness itself evolves, how the Dharma adapts to different cosmic conditions, and why our current spiritual era required the most revolutionary Buddha of all. Today, we will walk this ancient timeline. We will meet the Buddhas who preceded Siddhartha, understand why each era required different enlightenment technologies, and discover what this cosmic pattern reveals about our current moment in spiritual evolution. Because if these canonical sources are correct that enlightenment operates on a cosmic scale, then understanding where we are in this cycle becomes crucial for anyone serious about the spiritual path. Part 1. The Lamp Lighter and the Timeless Prophecy. Our journey begins with Dipankara Buddha, whose name means the lamp lighter, and whose encounter with the future Buddha contains one of the most extraordinary prophecies in Buddhist literature. The canon tells us Dipankara appeared 4 Asankhya kalpas ago. A kalpa, or eon, is an unimaginably long time frame, often described as millions, even billions of years, used to measure cosmic cycles. But Dipankara's significance lies not in his own enlightenment. It lies in a single moment that would connect all future Buddhas across the river of time. The scriptures describe a young ascetic named Sumita, who would later be known as the Bodhisattva, encountering this radiant awakened being. Ancient sources paint the scene vividly. Sumita sees Dipankara approaching across a muddy path. In a spontaneous act of devotion, he lays his long hair across the mire so the Buddha can walk without soiling his feet. In that moment of pure offering, something of cosmic significance occurred. Dipankara Buddha stopped, looked directly into Sumita's eyes, and spoke what the Pali texts record as one of history's most precise predictions: in the future, you will become a Buddha. But the prophecy continued with details that would prove accurate across 4 incalculable eons. You will be born into the Shakya clan. Your father named Suddhodana, your mother Maya, and under a Bodhi tree. You will achieve supreme enlightenment with the name Gautama Buddha. Imagine, this prophecy was made when our universe was incomprehensibly younger. Yet, every detail would manifest exactly as foretold. Millions of lifetimes later, Dipankara's era is described as a golden age of consciousness. Human beings lived for vast periods, and consciousness was naturally refined. A single Buddha could sustain the direct transmission of Dharma for millennia because beings possessed the spiritual capacity to receive and maintain awakened understanding. This raises a compelling question. If Dipankara could live and teach for 100,000 years, why do later Buddhas have progressively shorter lifespans? And what does this systematic decline reveal about the nature of consciousness itself? Part 2. The Cosmic Melody of Adaptation. The Buddhavamsa does not simply list the Buddhas chronologically. It presents a systematic progression, a cosmic melody that shows how enlightenment adapts across vast cycles of time. Dipankara Buddha. Number 1. lived for 100.000 years. Kandanya Buddha, number 2, lived for 90.000 years. Kassapa Buddha, number 27, lived for 20.000 years. Gautama Buddha, number 28, lived for just 80 years. But notice the gaps between their appearances. Between the earliest Buddhas, the intervals span millions of years during spiritually rich periods. Then, between Buddhas 25 to 28, they appear in relatively quick succession during what the texts call the Age of Decline. This is not evidence of spiritual decay. It is something far more sophisticated, the principle of Dharma adaptation. As cosmic time progresses, consciousness becomes denser, more complex, requiring Buddhas to manifest in forms that match each era's spiritual receptivity. Picture it like this. In Dipankara's golden age, consciousness was like a clear crystal. The light of the Dharma could shine through it effortlessly. The early Buddhas were like the sun shining through pristine air. But as we move through cosmic cycles, the spiritual atmosphere becomes thicker. Later Buddhas had to function like lighthouses in a dense fog. And finally, the most recent Buddhas had to become like laser beams, concentrated, focused, designed to cut through spiritual opacity. Part 3. Kassapa Buddha, the Buddha of preparation. Of all 28 Buddhas, none plays a more crucial role in understanding our current spiritual era than Kassapa Buddha, the 27th in the sequence and Gautama's immediate predecessor. His era was a critical transition period when the methods of the Golden Age were becoming less effective. When consciousness was becoming denser, Kassapa Buddha responded by developing what scholars term the preparatory Dharma, teachings that did not offer immediate enlightenment but established a spiritual infrastructure for future awakening. The emphasis on monastic communities, systematic meditation training, detailed ethical guidelines, these foundational practices were not innovations by Gautama. They were refinements of methods first developed by Kassapa. But Kassapa's most revolutionary insight was not his direct teaching method. It was his understanding of spiritual timing. The texts suggest he foresaw the coming challenges, recognizing that the next Buddha would have to work with beings whose consciousness was far denser, whose lifespans were dramatically shorter. So Kassapa's strategy became unprecedented. Instead of relying purely on pointing directly to enlightenment, he created graduated paths, step-by-step methodologies, training systems that could function even when the teacher-student transmission became difficult. The scriptures record Kassapa's final prediction with remarkable precision: when conditions ripen, when humanity has forgotten enough to be truly ready to learn, then the next Buddha will appear with Dharma technologies appropriate for the age of conflict. Part 4. Gautama Buddha, the revolution in the age of conflict. Now we arrive at the most familiar Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. But to understand him as the 28th in this cosmic lineage is to completely transform our appreciation of his significance. Gautama Buddha appeared during what Buddhist cosmology calls the Kali Yuga, the age of conflict. The human lifespan had declined to around 100 years, and spiritual receptivity had reached its lowest point in the cosmic cycles. This was not a cosmic accident. It was a spiritual necessity. Gautama did not achieve enlightenment despite these challenging conditions. He achieved it precisely because these conditions demanded completely revolutionary approaches to awakening. This is why his innovations were so extraordinary: the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, the systematic analysis of suffering and its causes, detailed meditation instructions, comprehensive ethical frameworks. These were not just spiritual insights. They were technologies precisely engineered for breakthrough under difficult conditions. Previous Buddhas could point directly to enlightenment, and beings would awaken instantly. But Gautama had to develop step-by-step methodologies, detailed maps of consciousness, practical techniques that could function when spiritual transmission became difficult. His 6-year spiritual quest before enlightenment was not just a personal search. It was a process of cosmic research and development, studying the residual teachings from previous Buddhist traditions but finding them insufficient for the spiritual requirements of his era. The breakthrough under the Bodhi tree was not merely an individual awakening. It was the discovery of how enlightenment could manifest during an age of decline. How timeless wisdom could be translated into methods accessible to beings with limited spiritual capacity. Part 5. Maitreya Buddha, the future dawn. The cosmic timeline does not conclude with Gautama. The same canonical texts that chronicle the 28 previous Buddhas also describe the 29th. Already determined, currently residing in the Tushita heaven, awaiting the precise moment for the next great Dharma revolution. His name is Maitreya, derived from the Sanskrit Maitri, meaning loving kindness. But Maitreya's timeline reveals fascinating conditions that must be fulfilled before his appearance. The scriptures state that the human lifespan must increase to 80.000 years. The world must experience unprecedented peace and prosperity. And most significantly, the Dharma of Gautama Buddha must completely disappear from the earth. This creates a profound paradox. Maitreya will not appear to continue Buddhism as we know it. He will emerge to restart the entire enlightenment cycle after the current teachings have been forgotten, bringing fresh Dharma technologies for a renewed golden age. The 29th Buddha represents both completion and renewal, the fulfillment of the current cosmic cycle and the seed of the next, reminding us that enlightenment is not a historical accident, but a cosmic necessity. Conclusion. The legacy of the constellation of awakening. So, what does this ancient chronicle of 28 Buddhas truly teach us? It reveals something profound. Enlightenment is not a random spiritual accident. It is a cosmic necessity, a universal rhythm that manifests precisely when the evolution of consciousness requires its next breakthrough. This transforms how we understand our own practice. We are not struggling with meditation in isolation. We are participating in a cosmic process that has been unfolding for incalculable eons, using methods specifically designed by the 28th Buddha for the very consciousness challenges we still face. When you sit in meditation, practice mindfulness, or cultivate compassion, you are engaging with the distilled wisdom of 28 cosmic teachers. Your practice is not just a search for personal peace. You are contributing to the evolution of consciousness, connecting us to the infinite wisdom of the past and the infinite potential of the future. Every moment of your awakening, however small, participates in the same cosmic process that produced 28 Buddhas and will eventually manifest the 29th. Your spiritual development matters on a scale you can barely imagine.